focus again, on the one hand, there is the parliament security breach. On the other hand, we have a huge national security issue that perhaps kind of slipped under the radar, ladies and gentlemen, but we thought we should dwell on it with two very erudite minds on national security, Tara Kartha ji and also Sanjay Kulkarni ji joining us at this point. Namaste and Jai Hind to both of you. And we will focus attention on the NIA crackdown on this ISIS SIMI module, and it all led to the arrest of Saquib Nachan. And this Saquib Nachan, a big catch, somebody who's been arrested in the past, but now has been doing all kinds of work, which has been where he's trying to create a pan-Islamist bent. ISIS modules working with former SIMI operatives. General Sanjay Kulkarni, are you surprised, shocked, or are you looking at this was fait accompli?
Anand, thank you. I must tell you that, the very fact that NI is keeping all these chaps in the radar is indicative that there's a lot happening all over the world. And we are obviously not get to be, away from it. You know what's happening in Afghanistan. We know how Pakistan, despite its deep involvement in Afghanistan, despite that, Taliban hit back, so they have their own problems with Taliban, Pakistan, a whole lot of terrorists, a number of weapons left behind by America. Then you had the ISIS, which was a major problem. Everybody thought ISIS, the Muslim Brotherhood again. You see the offset, the Hamas over there, Israel. So there are a lot of things happening, and there is no denying the fact that the Muslims per se, let's not play around with words, do find it difficult, because late one notices that any religion which is not propagating peace, or you can find a kind of a difference, or people can sort of misinterpret and people can be radicalized, is extremely, extremely dangerous. And that is what irks, and we must be very careful about. And this radicalization which is taking place, by anybody, for them, it does not matter. They are just the kinds that they have to spread Islam. That is all that they are looking at. They are not interested in anything else. And if that be so, then we ought to be very, very careful. Because even Sharia, you can look at it from a point of view that he's a one-man judge. The mullah can do anything and everything. So the common man over there, if they have a problem, they rather not go to the court, they rather go to that mullah over there, who will now therefore be able to give you a judgment instantly, within maybe a few days, just referring to the Sharia laws. So that may be to a large extent be satisfying the local people with their problems, and therefore not going to the court and things. We have to be very careful. We have to be making it extremely, extremely clear. Look, this is one country which has a constitution, and everybody has to abide to that constitution. Should you not be doing that?
What Saquib Nachan was doing was trying to create his own area in Padga, this entire region in Padga of Mumbai, in this region. He was trying to call this area as Al-Sham, or a liberated zone. His son Shamil Nachan has been involved, and what they were trying to do is they were recruiting Bayatis, asking them to come there and further strengthen this area, this region, so that you have a solitary or a solid group of people and numbers, and then you call this area as your own God, your own liberated zone. If this is not Pan-Islam, Dr. Tara Karta, then what is? And they were trying to teach these people how to make IEDs, coaching them into being fidain. Lots of details that are shocking. And it looks like a huge, huge terror attack has been averted. The continuum is with the arrest of Shanawaz and those others, but it just looks like we were looking at something far more diabolical, something that would have overshadowed 2611.
Anand, the thing is, I'm surprised, because in 2017, I remember that they had asked for a life term, right? For this guy, for his activities in Mumbai in 2002 attacks and so on. He has a long, what shall I say, biodata in terms of terrorism.
Yeah, working with Khalistanis in the 90s. It starts since then.
Exactly. So that is what is worrying. And then he gets let out because of his, exemplary attitude in jail. And he's from SIMI, right? He was, I think he was president of the SIMI at some point. See, SIMI is extremely well organized. Unlike, Lashkar-e-Taiba is, virtually part of the state in Pakistan, as is the Jaish-e-Mohammed. But in India, It is SIMI which has always been the base of most terrorist groups. Even if you find former Lashkar-e-Taiba terrorists, ex-SIMI, so they have an underground, what shall I say, a kind of a networking which has been going on for years. And that's what, despite being banned, they emerge under PFI. Another case. In Kerala, SIMI has its own, what shall I say, frontal organizations. So this particular organization has to be kept under watch all the time. But what you have brought out, your channel has brought out, this is shocking. I mean, this is bringing together so many groups who had their differences in the past, right? You had, problems between Indian Mujahideen, you had Indian Mujahideen fighting. It was usually over money, over areas of operations. And now, according to your report, they have a sort of an area to themselves. This is unbelievable. So if all of these various groups bring together their particular expertise, this is extremely dangerous. And I wouldn't even rule out that they may even sort of assist some of the Khalistanis who are floating around. Because you've got Gurpatwant Singh Pannu making threats out day after day. He's got one threat, new threats coming out against Parliament, as we know. I wouldn't rule it out because I have seen some very strange alliances lately. There is particularly.
And these people have aligned with the Khalistanis in the 90s. It's not that this Saquib Nachan faction and this group, he is not aligned. He was in jail because of his association with them and working with those terrorists at that time. So this entire K2 combination, and we are seeing this terror groups combining ranks even on the other side of the LOC, General Kulkarni. We are seeing the Hizbul, Lashkar, Jaish all combining ranks, borrowing LED experts from the Taliban. So we're seeing a lot happening. Even the ISIS Khorasan, certain people are splinter groups are now interchanging ranks and expertise and guns for hire, etc. So is this now a dangerous development, or we should look at where pan-Islamists are saying, let's combine forces?
Absolutely, and terrible, absolutely terrible, very deadly. We've got to be very, very alert. We have to know what's going on, because whether it's Indian Mujahideen, whether it's ISIS, it's Al Qaeda, anybody and everybody. You can have the Shias and the Sunnis also getting together. You can see Iran and Saudi Arabia getting together. Anything for their own comfort and for that Islam, the caliphate, they will do anything. And this is what is really worrisome. We have to be careful. We have to be vigilant. And there's no question of anybody wanting an area to themselves. I remember once when I used to be operating in Doda, they would call certain areas Islamabad. It didn't take us about 3 months to sort them all out. So you have to do it. And when you have to do it, you've got to tell them, look, whatever it be, so no problem. But nation comes first, always and every time. There's no question of any one of you wanting to do your way. It's neither your way. It's the constitution that allows us, and we are here to ensure that you follow it. Once you're strict, they know your mean business. They damn well follow the line. It is, you have to be. There's no question now. No question of anybody wanting to rule their way or go any other way. Nothing. It's just one way. The Indian constitution is supreme. Indian nation is supreme. That's it. Otherwise, you'll be sorted out. Put them in jail.
No, but they are being radicalized via the ISIS band. See, the Daesh are somebody, even the moderates within Islam have largely come out against, and they've spoken against. The Daesh, many people agree on. Now, this radicalization is happening on the bent of the Daesh. But does this also underline the fact that there is no reforming a radical? Dr. Tara Kartha, once a radical, always a radical. But how do you book somebody? How do you adjust? You can ban the organization, but can you ban the cadre? The cadre is manifesting. The cadre is only far getting and embracing far more radical fundamentalist ideology. It's not IM, it's not Students Islamic Movement, it's now Daesh or ISIS.
Yes. In fact, we had done a kind of a wrap-up study on, various people who had volunteered to join different organizations. So, from say 16 onwards, and all of them had been, trying to get what are the commonalities.